Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am joined with the amazing Lauren Booth.
Astaghfirullah.
You know what? I was thinking about my introduction. I thought I cannot call her amazing because she's going to say astaghfirullah, and then I did it.
Astaghfirullah. Why? We've even been talking about
I know,
this. Throw soil in my face.
Okay, the awful Lauren Booth.
Alhamdulillah, true. Astaghfirullah.
But something I can compliment is your course.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Should we tell people about that, or is it a secret?
No, it's definitely not a secret. And the thing I'm committed to is to sharing what I know of TV work, walking into a room, interview techniques as a Muslim. Now, you know, why is that so different? Because we can bring our negative expectations into the room with us, and that's a mistake. Most people, if you're going for a university interview and you've got a beard or you've got a hijab on, the courses I offered is on prophetic manners in the public space, because I don't want our young Muslims to be back-footed with their skills, because we have the brightest, we have the best, we have lovely manners in our ummah, we have great skills to offer, and I want you to know that you're the best when you go into those interviews. So I've created something called Find Your Voice based on my experience, and you can find it on Teachable. And because you've invited me on, I'm going to post a special voucher coupon below, so you can come on board and just press the coupon and you'll find out all about the course. It's 6 parts. I'll be your trainer. I'll see you there, inshallah. So
today we're going to talk about juggling technology as a Muslim. And I really wanted to have this discussion for a long time. It's something that affects our ummah so much, and it's affected me. Has it affected you as well?
About technology, we all have our battles.
Exactly.
It's across the age groups as well, right? So I'm in my 50s, you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
Somebody at 9 is having a very different reality. But for all of us, yes.
It's a big issue, and I think it's something we need to discuss. And it's something that we need to be aware of, because we need to practice sort of mindful usage. And I think that's something I want to promote, is mindful usage, in the sense that being aware of what you're doing and how it's affecting you. It's kind of like food for your brain, you know, what we're seeing, what we're hearing. So how is it affecting our brains? How is it affecting the way we think? I wanna start with this. What is the biggest problem you think we face today with technology?
Problem we face with technology today is having a phone in our hands all the time. And it's like it's glued. It's like this. Even when you put it down, it's like, oh, I need it for something.
Yes.
It's like it's on, you know, it's like on a piece of string. That's, you know, so we can talk in a minute about my coping strategies. I know you have yours, and you please share your coping strategies out there, because we're all helping each other in this. But imagine, you know, I didn't even have an iPhone until I was like in my 40s, you know, which is like, God, all of those 20, 30, 40 years of freedom, and it still got me. It got me to the extent where you look at that time and it's like 13 hours, you know, today, or 7 hours a day, and it's like, how did that happen? Yeah. And then you go into denial, or you switch off the app on the iPhone that tells you. Yeah. It's like, that's like just delete. My thing was, I'd always say, oh, it's Waze, it's Google Maps.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, 4 hours a day on Google Maps? I don't think it was. Yeah. And they even breaks it down. You're like, I'm ignoring that.
Yeah.
Because you can't cope with the reality of it. There's the app use. There's the, I use it for my work. Okay? I use it for editing videos. When you see me on my phone, I might be speaking to my mum. You know, or my sister. So that it's a useful thing.
Definitely, it can be.
It can be a useful thing. So you know, are we making presumptions about the misuse of it? When does it tip into danger zone? You know, without a doubt, the last 5 years, it's this doom scrolling.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the social media apps.
Yeah, it's bottomless scrolling. There's no end to it.
There's no end to it, and there's no purpose to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
That's when I get really scared.
Definitely.
It's like you start off with, okay, I've got to set a timer. Okay, I've got to set a time for 15 minutes. I'm doing some cooking, and but then something's on YouTube, and then YouTube takes me, and an hour has gone.
Yeah.
That doesn't that leave a depressing kind of sick, I feel quite nauseated feeling.
Definitely, and it's really scary because you don't always get to you don't get to choose what you're going to see unless you're doing mindful usage and you're picking what you're going to see. Most of the time we're recommended things, we see things we don't want to see. It's like you're pretty much giving Shaitan permission to just show you whatever he wants to show you.
Yeah.
And you can be seeing things that can affect you, and little by little you end up watching things that you wouldn't have watched, and then even worse things, and then it just goes further and further.
So true. If someone ran into this room right now and said, come with me, we've got to have a meeting, it's really important, and you knew them, you'd go, okay, you go to the meeting.
Yeah.
But if they then said, come with me, and they started running and they're like, where are we going? We don't know. Let's just go. And it might be haram, but come with me. And you're like, okay then. You'd
Exactly.
never do that. In the physical world, you'd never do that.
And I think as well, when you're on social media and you're following people, be mindful who you're following. The person you're following, are they promoting something that's good? Are they promoting something that's with the Quran, that's as Islamic, you know? Or are you following someone that's the opposite of that? Are you following like a rapper who, you know, isn't even Muslim and doesn't believe? And they're promoting things on their Instagram that you might think are kind of cool and oh, it's harmless, you know, it's harmless. But you're following that person. To follow someone is a big thing.
Do you know what? If you look at who you're following, it'll tell you what you are right now, not who you are, because human beings have fitra. We have a natural inclination to want to be good. Nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, I'm going to be a super villain today. I'm going to be mean to everybody that I meet.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal and lie. It just never happens, right?
Of course.
But we can get sucked into that behaviour.
Yeah.
So have a look right now, maybe after this video, just go, who are the people, and if they walked into my house, would my mum like them? Yeah. Would I like them to be friends with my sister? Or would I go, toxic person?
Yeah.
You know, don't you think? And also, I think there's an issue with we might follow somebody because they do a certain fashion thing, and I'm not really into fashion. You may have noticed this. Fine. Somebody like let's do eyelashes. But then the rest of their life is something really unhealthy, and they seem really unhappy. And so do you want to be taking any tips from them?
No, I understand, and it's actually very, very common, especially in our ummah, for people to follow, you know, these kind of people. And it's something I easily could have fallen into as well, being a young girl. And, you know, we're still, even though we're Muslim, we're still living in this world with materialism that's kind of always trying to draw us in. And even though, you know, we cover up, we still have to face every day of people saying, if you want to be accepted, just be beautiful. We're still facing these kind of things every single day. It's good to upload positive content, but make sure the stuff you're uploading, you're not measuring your worth on it. Because we can sort of see, there's a social currency that's being thrown around now, and that's likes, that's views, there's all these kind of things. And it doesn't necessarily mean just because someone's got more likes, they're better. Allah judges by piety. So, welcome T to the channel. So I think I just want to discuss notifications really quickly, because the thing with notifications is they often take us away from something we're supposed to be doing, whether it's Instagram. There's so many apps we have now, like Facebook, and even YouTube can sometimes send you like notifications. And don't even turn notifications on for my channel. Like, don't turn on notifications, because the thing is, notifications, they can take you away from anything. You could be reading Quran, a notification could come. You could be praying, a notification
So
could
when
come.
we say press the bell icon below, that's another irritation to people.
I mean, I guess it could be.
Sorry to everybody who have been saying press the bell icon below.
I mean, we all make mistakes all the time.
I won't be saying it ever again.
I honestly think that only have notifications for really important things. Azan times, fine. Perfect. Amazing. Have notifications for that. Some really close family members, yes. But even friends, I wouldn't recommend turning on notifications.
I didn't even know you saying, I mean, notifications as in calls or just on social media or everywhere?
Calls, I guess, is a form of notifications. It's a bit different because calls are more emergency. I mean, like messages. So even when it comes to like Instagram messages, a lot of people have notifications for this. I mean, I personally never turn them on, but you can get notifications for like Instagram messages, Facebook messages. There's so many apps. And the thing about notifications is once you hear that bell, you're going to be thinking, what was that? What was that? You could be reading an amazing book and you're going to come away from it because you're going to be like, what was that notification?
So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. All of our pious predecessors, the learned ones, the scholars, the people of study, they were people who studied and looked at one thing at one time. If they, you can't imagine a great ustada, a great sheikh or a great sheikh, all right, in a class and going, bing, sorry, hang on a second. Now, an average person, you can do that, right? But it's clearly bad adab, and it's broken the chain of whatever's going on. You know, we have to relearn being in the moment. I mean, so for example, my phone did go earlier, but it was my daughter, and if kids ring twice,
of course,
it's the law, right?
Course.
Okay. Now, what you've noticed is I've had it on airplane mode. You wouldn't dream of having the pings going. So I personally, I don't have notifications for anything. Because that exact reason. I think we all know people, or maybe we've been the person who, when the phone goes ping, they dash, where's my phone? Where's my phone? And it's not even, it's not like they've got somebody ill in hospital. It's just like, oh my God, someone else wants me. And again, don't you think it's insecurity? Don't you think it's a neediness to be validated, to be valued, rather than, you know, it can be an interesting moment we're in. It can be a dull moment. It can be a mundane thing at work. But the interaction face to face trumps the phone. And we all really need to relearn that. I have no notifications at all, and I will not be... Okay, hang on a second, it's a hadith. Thank God. It was a hadith. Wallahi, I swear it's a hadith. Look.
That is so funny. Allahu Akbar.
Okay, I didn't even know I had that. That's a hadith came up.
MashaAllah.
Alright, so it's hadith. See, Allah Akbar. I'd be much worse, in a much worse state. If that hadn't been a hadith, I was like, thank God.
But yeah,
even those things, are they helpful, really? Here's the risk. So here's the risk, sis, about things that are to do with the deen. If we have notifications like that, and we find ourselves going, oh, we're busy, hadith.
You're gonna, I completely agree.
You know, what are we doing to the respect that we should have for the Prophet, peace be upon him? I think that was meant to happen, and we're meant to reevaluate about how many times, you know, in a day do we go, hadith sunnah, astaghfirullah. Oh, dog video, astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah. What are we stopping for? It creates an atmosphere of anxiety. When we're talking about a mental health illness boom, it's because we can't focus on anything. We can't buy ourselves that headspace. Forget buying time. Time is elusive. It comes and it goes. And we should all be using it well. But to have things constantly break in, I think there was a study done where on average in an hour we're interrupted over 100 times.
Wow.
So you know, we're looking at people younger having strokes. We're looking at people having heart attacks younger. That used to just be road rage. Now, you know, 100% it's going to be those constant pains and anxiety. We don't need to live in that. Like my husband and I, we get them out of the room now. We don't sleep with them in the room. So perhaps sleeping on what we look at first.
Yes, in the morning. What's the first thing you see in the morning?
For years, it was the phone.
And that's very normal nowadays. It's very normal. Doesn't mean it's good, but it's very normal.
And now, no phone in the bedroom.
Definitely. Because when you're waking up for Fajr with that good intention, you want to remain that. So we do have a rule, alhamdulillah, and I think it's a really good rule everyone should take in. No phones until after Fajr.
Okay.
I think it's a good rule.
I think it's a very basic rule. I think it's essential. Yeah, absolutely.
You get up, you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first. When all that's done, then you can start checking dunya.
And why we check, you know, here's the other thing, by the way, everybody, you know, subhanAllah, you guys have grown up, you're probably a lot younger than me, and it's part of your working life, it's part of your student life, the phone, it's part of your breath, the breath you take in. But there was a time when we didn't need it. You can push these things back. The biggest trick that's been played on the workforce, which is all of us, because we all do some kind of productivity in return for money, right? Is this. People, do you remember, just 20 years ago, people would do 9 to 5, and then they'd get the train home, and then they'd have the night off. You're looking like, really? Night off? I don't. No, sorry. Okay, maybe it was 30 years ago before you were born, right? And then these phones and computers came off, and then what happens is the person gets on the train at 7 and they're working. Right? And they get to the office at 9 and then they do their work. And then they get trained 6 to 7 and they do another hour's work.
That's not
So
normal.
that's 3 hours extra work, 15 hours extra work a week that
Yeah.
you're not paid for.
Interesting.
We do not need to be working all the time. The Prophet, peace be upon him, had a time for community, time for charity, time for home, time for political and state life, time for rest. And don't let it be a constant bleed.
Allah sees everything, whether it's on your phone, whether it's everything Allah sees. We often forget when we're using technology, when we're messaging that girl or that boy, or when we're looking on something we shouldn't be looking on. Allah sees everything.
I don't think people forget that. I think we deliberately switch it off.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that we're so mesmerized. I think we have to take responsibility.
Yeah.
I think it's both be aware of what we're watching and take responsibility for it.
Yeah.
You know, and make Tawbah for it. Because if you don't take responsibility for it, you can't say, I'm sorry, Allah, that was really a poor thing that I've been watching. I'm going to stop. Please help me to stop. And you know, the thing is, when you make Tawbah, you have to say, and I'm never going to do it again in my life.
Yeah.
Not, I'd like not to do it, and then slip with the intention of, you know, you've got to say, I never want to do that again in my life. You know, we all have those things, and do that, but be intentional about it.
Yeah, definitely. Don't sort of have a half heart when you're making Tawbah, otherwise you're not really making Tawbah. You have to be 100% like, I'm so sorry, I'm never going to do this again. If you fall into it again, you know. And also, we live in the generation of trolls. You guys already probably know this word. Trolls are people on the internet that pretty much comment on your stuff, saying like, that's bad, or go to hell. There's all these kind of things. People suffer a lot. It's really awful. And we often feel like we can say what we want behind a keyboard. And we have to remind ourselves, like, one, the most important thing, is it something we're allowed to say in Islam? Are we doing something that is against our deen, that is showing bad character? Are we backbiting? There's so many different things we could be doing. And secondly, would you say it to their face?
Yeah, I think those aren't bad barometers. I think we can actually, inshallah, go as believers further.
Yeah.
Don't say, if we're moved to say something nasty underneath what somebody's done, should we have been watching it in the first place? What are we doing there?
That's so true.
Yeah? If it's a Muslim and it's a genuine critique that's going to save them from the fire, or something you really have a concern about, private message.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, do it. You know, personally. Yeah. You don't make humiliation public.
Yeah, of course. You're not supposed to humiliate people publicly. Yeah. Name is, you know, having a clean name is a big thing in our deen. Otherwise, why would it be haram to backbite on someone?
All of these brothers and sisters should be, if we're honest with ourselves, making us go, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Everything we say is to ourselves first and to you guys second. Like, we are not perfect. We struggle with these things constantly. And through these conversations, we're learning just as much as anyone else.
I mean. So best of all is this, right? Get the main apps off your phone. I say if you're studying languages, do it on your laptop and make time for it.
Interesting.
Don't be on the phone. My hand goes fizzy, pins and needles if I hold my phone too much. Now, my daughter's going to say, I'm a scientist and there's nothing wrong with holding your phones. I don't want that in my hand all the time. Don't use it when it's plugged in. Have it in another room. Go out and see the world. Go out and do something good for somebody else.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, one day, let's time ourselves and say, right, I normally would have doom scrolled for, I know that would have been 30 minutes. I've got an hour and a half tomorrow. Right, from not doom scrolling, I'm going to join X, Y, and Z. I'm going to find a feeding program. I'm going to go and visit somebody who needs a visit.
Yeah.
Imagine what we can do with that time. Life.
Yeah, definitely.
Goodness, inshallah.
That's like the ultimate goal, right?
Yes.
That's like the ultimate goal. And I think there's a couple of steps that some people might have to take, some people who are struggling a bit more than others.
Oh,
you know.
Don't be so woolly.
No.
Don't be so woolly. Get on with it. Put the phone down and go outside. Seriously, there are a couple of steps. Just be gentle.
Yeah.
No, I'm not buying it. No.
I wish it was that easy. I really do. So many people are struggling with this, seriously.
Allah make it easy.
Yeah, Allah make
it is addictive. No, it is addictive.
Definitely.
They've made it like the crack of this generation. You know? And you pay for it as well. What's wrong with us?
I think moving on to our laptops is a really positive thing because our phones we take everywhere, our laptops we don't. Maybe you do, but we don't. And so when I try and watch YouTube, I'll use a laptop because then I'm not just randomly scrolling. I'll be like, okay, I'm going to watch a lecture, I'm going to go on Mufti Main Khan, whoever I decide to watch, I'm going to put that on, you know, make that decision, make that intention before you use it. And I think even with Instagram, I personally would recommend deleting it from your phone. I know some people, that's a really fast step for them. Just turn off the notifications. If you decide to keep it, turn off the notifications. Unfollow the people that are really negative. They're the main things. If you're able to delete it, delete it. And as someone who's a creator, I upload it to upload. I download it to upload, and then I delete it straight away. It's the best way to do it.
You download it to upload. Oh, you download the app to upload the video and then get rid of it, so you're not drawn in. Yeah, yes. And that's honestly, that's a great tip, because that's how a lot of content creators I know actually use Instagram. So you're watching them on Instagram, they're not watching you. Isn't that interesting? SubhanAllah. Yeah. So take the good from it and then get out of it. I've deleted it again. And you'll see me on Instagram. You're like, oh, she must be on it all the time. No, not anymore. Yeah, it's a secret. These are trade secrets, definitely. If you're going to pick up your phone and use it, know what you're using it for first. I think that's the best part of picking up. Don't just pick it up and just figure out as you go along. Think, okay, right, I need to pick up my phone because I need to check Google Maps. Does anybody else find themselves doing a round of messages? Here's the downside that I haven't quite figured out. If you turn off all your notifications, don't you end up checking more if you've got messages?
It depends. It depends if you're seeking for something. If you're seeking something, then you do. Say, for example, like you're seeking, maybe you're like, has my mom messaged me today or something, then you might. But if you're busy, then
do you do aimless checking of WhatsApp or something?
It
just
depends
to see what messages
how busy I am in the day. And it depends if I need something. Like if I'm literally looking for my mum's message me, I might. But apart from that, you don't think about it.
So many groups. What do I do?
Oh, the groups are just. I don't think, I've never had anything good from the groups, to be honest. Be honest with people. If you know, say like, look, I'm turning my notifications off. If you need me, call me. I literally have that in my WhatsApp bio. It's like, if you need me, call me. Okay. Because I'm not going to get your text.
That is the money right there. If I get 40 calls tonight, I'm calling you.
Everyone's going to call you. Can you find me a wife? Oh, no. This is what happens on a daily basis. Okay, alhamdulillah. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. See you guys again very soon. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. I thought we were done. I'm having my tea.
I was like, we're going to do that. Alhamdulillah.